What is up, guys? My name is Mark Santamaria. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the RC vlog. So that last video, I dropped the bomb that I was leaving Agama. So this video, I am going to talk about what I think is the best RC sponsor, who the best company to be sponsored by is. And just so you guys, before you get all pissed off, this is my opinion, and I'm just gonna break it down to you on my thought process and where I might possibly be going. So it's gonna be a long conversation, guys. So before I go on to where I'm going and my thought process, and I'll actually break down every chassis and why they are good or why they are bad for me, but let's talk about why I left Agama. So you guys are going to be the first ones to hear this. I didn't even tell Billy when I left Agama why I left Agama. He kind of he's respectful enough not to kind of probe. He realizes that it's just kind of a personal opinion. And just so you guys know, Billy Talaska, he's the team manager for Agama. I left on good terms. I'm actually going to stay with Bullet Engines, which he is also the Bullet Engine team manager. So I love Bullet Engines. Bullet Engines are awesome. If you guys don't know anything about Bullet Engines, they are OS-based engines made by Nemo Racing USA, and they are phenomenal. I've always been an OS believer, so it's a great engine. It looks cool. So let's talk about why I left Agama. So really, and you guys aren't going to believe this, but there's two big reasons why I left Agama. The big main reason is I'm thinking about the future of my involvement in RC. So I want to do a lot of YouTubing. Obviously you guys know that I've been launching videos 2 to 3 times a week, and unfortunately Agama just isn't nationwide or even worldwide enough. And it's not that they're not out there, they're just not as popular. So doing a, what is this guy doing in front of me? Good God. Doing a video on an Agama build might lack luster to the basic or normal YouTube watcher. So that's one thing. That's really the main thing. It's all about what I got, what the good content I can get out of the chassis I've run. So I will say though, the Agama car is an amazing car. One person described it as RC's best kept secret. Like, it handles amazing. The first time I drove the A215, it was easily the best nitro car I've ever driven. The SV was even better. It's an amazing car. So it was not, I did not leave because it wasn't fast enough or I wasn't comfortable with it. It's a great car. Again, it was 2 reasons. That reason that I just really wanted to give good content to you guys, and the other reason being, you know, 10 scale's blowing up in my area, and I really want to start running a 10 scale chassis. So I wanted to get in my 10 scale game, and Agama doesn't have 10 scale. Agama really had a really good nitro buggy. They had an e-buggy, but they didn't launch the A215 SV in the e-buggy, so you had to convert a nitro buggy to an e-buggy. So they didn't have very many cars to choose from, and you guys know me, I own a lot of cars and I like to do a lot of different classes, so I felt like it just wasn't a fit for me in that regard. So those are the 2 main reasons why I left Agama. So now let's go on to choosing a chassis. So the thing about choosing a chassis is it's different for everybody. You have to understand what you want to run in RC. I mean, some guys will only run nitro buggy, so that opens the range up for all different types of chassis they can run. So whenever I choose a chassis, there's a couple things I look at. One is the support. I want to know that I have a team manager, and I'm not saying I lacked any of these with Agama because I had a team manager and it was local, but I want the support where I can basically ping my team manager anytime I need to, and I know that I'll be able to get parts quickly if I need them. The second thing is I want a good team. And when I say a good team, I'm talking about a team that whenever I go to the track and I'm hanging out with my team members, I enjoy hanging out with team members. And I'm not talking about the cool guys, I'm talking about the genuine dudes that I like hanging out with. So I wanted good solid teams. That was one of the reasons why I went to Agama in the first place, because they had a great team. The guys that were on team were guys that I would want to hang out with every weekend. And because this is a hobby that I'm probably going to be doing often, you want to be hanging out with those kind of people a lot. With that said, I know in the last video I said don't silo yourself in the RC make that you're running. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, you know, typically you're going to sit by your team members, so those are the people you want to pit by. And then the last thing I'm looking for is, again, a chassis that's going to give me several options to run. I want to be able to run A scale and 10 scale. It's going to widen my range of races I can go to. And I really like 10 scale races. So you guys probably don't know this, but when I first started racing big time, not when I first got an RC, but when I first started racing pretty hardcore, I was in 10 scale, and I was actually pretty successful. I really enjoyed it, and the big track in our area that everyone used to run 10 scale at closed down, so that's where that kind of faded off. But I want to get back in 10 scale. So those three things: the support, the team, and how many different cars I can run, how many different classes I can run. So those are the three deciding factors for me. That's not to say that's the three deciding factors for whatever you guys are saying. That's why this video is very subjective, so don't get all butthurt whenever I tell you guys who I think the best chassis makers are, or the best sponsors are. Alright, so let's get rid of the low-hanging fruit chassis makers. S-Works, I'm not gonna run S-Works. It doesn't look like the car is developing up. I haven't even drove the car. It might be a great car. There's not very many people running here, so I'm not gonna have the team. That's one of the things I wanted, and I'm not gonna have the support. And yeah, it's not gonna happen. S-Works, we can throw right out. Another one we can throw right out is Kyosho. Kyosho's a great car, and they have a 10 scale car. 10 scale car might be a little outdated, but man, Kyoshos are just next level crazy expensive. I mean, at some point I gotta look at it as, I mean, it's not that I'm just super tight on money, but geez, I can get 2 normal cars for the price of Kyosho, and that's with a deal. Unless I'm getting a 100 deal, which I'm fair. I know I'm not worth a 100 deal, so I'm not going to go for that. But Kyosho, we're throwing right out. All right, I'm leaving Traxxas right now. I actually have to run over to Traxxas and drop a couple of bodies off for something I can't say for right now because it's not Christmas time yet. However, all right, back to chassis. So now I'm going to talk about the chassis I'm highly considering and that are good choices, but I've already ruled the next couple out. X-Ray, great chassis. They got a 10 scale game. Their 10 scale game might need a little bit of help. There's a guy in my local area, and his name is Mike Stoll. He does really good with the 10 scale car. But X-Ray also falls under the super crazy expensive category. So again, I could probably get a good deal with them. I'm sure they would work with me, especially with the publicity I do, but I'm talking about buying like 3 cars every quarter. It's going to be really hard to swing that one. So I kind of just ruled that one out, and I know the X-Ray parts are expensive. Also, X-Ray is local, so it would make sense and would fit under my guidelines of trying to support local, but I don't think I can order directly through them, so I don't know if that would benefit me much. Long story short is it's a good choice, but I have already ruled out X-Ray. All right, so another one I ruled out, which a lot of people are not going to be happy about this because they have been picking up people like crazy. I've been hit up by them from a couple of people, and this car is actually an excellent car, is Hot Bodies. I have ruled out Hot Bodies. Hot Bodies does not have a solid 10 scale game. They're not, that's another chassis that might lack some luster on the YouTube channel. They got a really solid buggy. Their buggy was awesome. Their truggy was awesome. They didn't have an e-buggy. I like to run e-buggy, so that was another thing that kind of deterred me from going Hot Bodies. They have a solid team. One of my really good RC buddies, Tony Kigley, he is a Hot Bodies guy. And I would be pitting with him anyways. And also the Hot Bodies team manager, Victor Guerrero, is a good friend of mine. He's also super cool. So from a team perspective, it would have made sense. But again, they just don't have the cars that I want. So that was another one of my 3 things that I was looking for. So Hot Bodies is out. All right, so we're getting to the last 4. These are the 4 that I'm highly considering. If I went with any of these, I would be extremely happy. The first is Losi. Losi is a good choice. They have a solid 10 scale program. They just came out with the new Losi 8X, which they have a new A scale, they have a new 10 scale. They have a really good truck. And one of my good friends that I travel with, Wade, runs Losi. So it would make sense for me to run TLR. I also have a couple of other friends in my area, Ronnie and Robert Chapman. They also run TLR. I know they would be really supportive. That is a good possibility that I might run Losi. All right, another one that I might run is Mugen. Mugen car's solid. It's super solid. People have been doing really well with the Mugen car. They don't have a 10 scale game, but I might be able to get over it with how awesome the Mugen car is with the truck, the support. Adam Drake, super approachable guy. I know he would do anything to help me out. I've already talked to him a couple times. We spoke a little bit about the possibility. It is a great possibility, but they don't have a 10 scale program. The team here is pretty cool. They're a pretty cool team here. I can definitely see myself pitting with the guys around here. So it checks almost all the boxes. The support, I know my local hobby shop will have support, and I'm sure Mugen will get me the parts quick. So it checks all the boxes except for the whole 1 in the 10 scale game too. All right, so what are we at? I think we have 2 more. Yeah, 2 more that I'm highly considering. Tekno is one I'm highly considering. Tekno, you know, I've ran for Tekno for a while. I left to support Agama. You know, I really wanted to make a big impact with the chassis that I run. Agama, you know, it was cool to watch them grow. When I was with Tekno, they had a great team. The owner and the team manager, the national team manager, super cool guys. Like, I would hang out with them all the time. I hung out with them at the dirt. They showed a lot of value in me. I really liked that team. I did run it before though, so it's one of those things like, do I want to try something new? But they do check the boxes because they have a 10 scale game with the ET410, which that class is blowing up, and that looks like a lot of fun. They have a 4-wheel drive buggy. They call it the baby buggy. They have a really solid, probably the best electric game. I like to run electric, so they have the best, in my opinion, one of the best e-buggies and e-truckies in the game. And their nitro buggy has been solid. The guys have been crushing with it. Tyler Hooks in my area, just demolishing everybody. So it's an extremely capable nitro buggy. That is another chassis I am highly considering. Again, it checks all the boxes. The only caveat is I have ran it before, and it might take, I don't think it would take much convincing. I was really good friends with the team manager and the owner and all the guys on the team. The team is freaking awesome, so they definitely check that box. So Tekno, that's a front runner. All right, and then the last possibility. This is a really good one. Team Associated. They got a solid e-buggy. They got a solid nitro buggy. They got probably one of the most solid 10 scale games. The team manager is a good friend of mine, Tyler Keel. And I'll get all different types of cool stuff from that, from Team Associated. So it would really help the channel. I'm sure a lot of you guys would want to see the Associated stuff. They even have crawlers, which would be cool, which you guys know I like crawlers. So Team Associated checks all the boxes. The support is solid because I have Tyler Keel that I talk to fairly often. He's on the podcast. I know I'll be able to get parts from him if I need to. Obviously, the factory will be able to send it out. The ability to run multiple classes, probably the best out of all of them because they have the most classes. The only thing that will suck about Associated is that if I run short course, I don't know if they're going to make me run. I like short course. I don't know if they're going to make me run their scrappy short course because their short course just doesn't hold a flame to the Losi or the Tekno short course. So, but it does check all the boxes, and the team is cool. So that is another great possibility. So there is one more car I didn't mention, and it's obvious that I'm not going to choose this car make, but I'm going to throw them in there anyways because they are a player in the game at the moment, is JQ Racing. JQ's actually a pretty cool guy. He's, you know, he comes off like he's an asshole, but he's actually a really nice dude when you talk to him, and he would be really helpful. They don't have the 10 scale game I want, and honestly, with the publicity, he gets a lot of publicity, but a lot of it's negative publicity. It might actually make a negative impact on my YouTube channel, so I'm ruling that one out. I totally forgot about that one. So I got to the end of the video and I was like, I'm forgetting one of them. It was JQ. I'll probably forget another one, but we've touched up on a lot of cars. So right now, the front runners are Losi Associated, Tekno, and Mugen. So I've done a lot of talking about different chassis, but at the end of the day, there's one intangible that I got to consider, and it's just me as a driver and what company best suits me. So as you guys know, I'm not the slowest guy out there, but I'm also not the fast guy out there. I'm a fast open guy. I'm not a pro guy. I think I could run pro if I practice more often, but I don't practice very often. I need to start practicing more. But I'm right there, and I'm the guy that rides that bubble of maybe too fast for open, but not gonna do anything in pro. So that's the kind of driver I am. So the reason why I'm saying that is there's two teams that I might just I'm not too fond of because of the kind of driver I am. They don't put, I haven't seen in my experience them put a lot of value on these type of drivers. And the type of drivers are the open drivers that are doing it for a hobby. They really thrive for super fast pro drivers. Now these two companies that I'm about to throw out right now, and not throw out for my decision, but throw out as the best choice, because I told you guys I was going to tell you guys the best company to be sponsored by. Throw out for that competition is Losi and Associated. Losi really tries to get really fast guys. That's what they try to do. I mean, they really, and I respect that. I respect them. You know, it's about being, you know, being sponsored is about being fast. I respect that. But I don't think they'll value me as a driver and the what I can bring to the table as much as other companies who value all drivers, in my opinion, equally. So Losi and Associated, they want to win. And not that I don't want to win, but I don't want that to be the main reason why I'm going out to the track, because that's what ruins my track time and that's what ruins the experience for me. So I'm throwing out Losi and Associated as the best car company to be sponsored by. Which leaves the last two. So the last two are Mugen and Tekno. Both those companies I know value drivers like me. Value drivers that are just at the track, racing for fun, racing for the hobby. They're fast, but they're not, you know, sponsored to win. And they value guys like us. I know they do. I've talked to Adam, I've talked to Matt Walter. Those guys are super cool. And every time I talk to those guys, every time I see them at big races, no matter how big the race is, they'll always come talk to the small guys. So I know those guys would value guys like me. I know that those two companies would be, it would bring good content to my YouTube channel. And they're really good cars. So I think it's a tie between those two. Not a tie, but I think the top two are those two cars on the best car manufacturer to be sponsored by. However, I think Tekno edges it out just a little because Tekno has a wider range of cars. The other thing that Tekno does is Tekno does their own thing, which, as you guys know, there's a lot of talk about Agama, or not Agama, actually Agama and Kyosho, Agama and Losi, Associated and Mugen. Those pairs, they almost copy off each other. Associated and Mugen kind of copy off each other. I don't know which way it is. I don't want to make anyone mad, but the cars are almost the same. Even X-Ray and Pillowball also, they kind of have the similar platform. And then the other guys, they have a tendency to kind of follow one another. However, Tekno, they do their own thing, which that might sound bad to some guys because they're like, stick with what works. But anyone who knows life knows that the great things happen outside of the comfort circle. So Tekno is actually innovative. They're going to go out above and beyond and try new things to get themselves at the next level. Also, they're not scared to move into these cool new classes, which obviously I like because I'm a Traxxas fan. I like all the spec class they do. They tried the super light e-buggy. They have the little mini truck, the 10 scale 4-wheel drive truck. They also have bashing stuff, which I'm a basher too. So I personally think, again, no deals have been made. I haven't chose yet, but I personally think if you are a driver like me that's not going out there to win, but going out there to be competitive, have fun, I think the best car company to be sponsored by is Tekno. I've been sponsored by Tekno before. I loved it. It actually hurt really bad when I left. So now I just gotta hope that when I talk to them again, they don't blow me up. Anyways, I hope you like this vlog, guys. That's a lot of information. I kind of drew it out. I was multitasking. I was driving and talking at the same time. So if I seemed a little slow, it was mixed with me driving and mixed with me not sleeping last night because of a work issue. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, and you guys will see me next time. Later, guys.